You know, years ago when Obama came on the scene to be the president, to vie for the presidency of America, a lot of black people were excited. Oh, black people are making history. A black man is going to be president of America. I knew that it was going to be a waste of time because liberals come on different shades and colors. Liberals, be they white, black, or pink, they are the same. They don't deliver, they take advantage of the people, and at the end of the day, 8 years of your lives will be wasted. And that's what happened under Obama. You might think this man I'm being too harsh. Not too harsh. You know, as Christians, we're expected to have what the Bible calls discernment. You see, when you have discernment, you don't get carried away by emotions where, oh, history is being made. A black man, I don't do those things. If you're a Christian and you do those things, then you are lost. You don't know who your God is, and you don't have discernment at all. Obama, from the word go, I knew there was something wrong. And I'll explain to you now. Number one, you see, the Democrats are very smart. They are the party of the KKK. They didn't want slavery to end. They didn't want any black person to have a vote. But guess what? The Republicans fought for it. We got our votes. And at the end of the day, the Democrats thought, how can we still keep these guys in bondage? How can we keep them on the plantation? The best thing is to get people like them into power and tell them we're going to be fighting for their rights. In the process, bribe them, with benefits. When they receive benefits, a lot of them will not go to school, they stay home, they won't work, they impregnate so many girls, and at the end of the day, they are worthless to society. But we keep fighting, we tell them we're fighting for their rights. And this same party was the one that pushed the abortion agenda. There was a woman called Margaret Sanger. She pushed the abortion agenda. Why did she push it in the first place? She pushed it in the first place because they needed to control the population of the blacks, because they know that blacks were going to increase in number rapidly, and they can become a threat to white America. So the best way to keep them under, cut down their population. Black men are normally very active sexually. It's nothing bad, but if you actually use it the right way, then it's good. But if you're just doing it for doing sake, then you're wasting your time. So the best thing to do is that when they impregnate this woman that they're not going to get married to, let's encourage the women that they have the right to decide what happens in their bodies. So as a result, they can abort the baby and then there are no consequences. But we know that abortion is murder. Since the abortion bill was passed in America, over 60 million babies have been killed. And out of those 60 million babies, about 20 million black children have been killed. Can you imagine if those children were not killed? Today, it would be easy to vote any black person in as president. It would be easy for the black vote not to be ignored. But we sold out. How did we do it? By this man called Obama and many black guys like them. I personally, when I study a political party, I check their history. Their history tells me who they are. And as a result, I'm very careful. I personally, I don't like liberals. I'm not into liberal agenda. So when I see a liberal agenda coming, I know the agenda is anti-God, always anti-God. They give it interesting names: Planned Parenthood, abortion. Abortion is murder. They said Planned Parenthood. In the process, they enrich themselves through the killing of millions of babies across the world. And at the end of the day, they try to play God because they don't believe in God. So they try to play God. We can control the population of the world. We don't need God for that. But no, God said we should go and multiply and have dominion, take possession of the earth. So it doesn't mean killing babies. It means that we need the wisdom of God as to how to manage this earth. But when you ignore God, you lack that wisdom. So we need people like Obama. And you know what? What has happened then is that You know, there's a Yoruba saying. Yoruba tribe is a tribe in West Africa. The Yoruba tribe is very, very loaded. I believe the Yoruba tribe is the closest to the Hebrew language because they have a word for everything. The Yoruba tribe have a saying. They said, we're trying to fry someone, we're trying to roast someone, and the person is busy rubbing oil on their own bodies, which means you are making it easier for them. We're trying to kill you, we're trying to curb your population, and you yourself, you are cooperating with it, which is very sad. And that's what the black people are doing. And unfortunately also, we have some strange people within the black community who pretend to be fighting for your right. I went onto the internet to check how much Obama was worth before he became president. And he was worth only a mere $1.3 million. But after presidency, he's $70 million rich. And he says, he's fighting for you? No way. He's fighting for himself, for his wealth, to protect it, and for his masters who installed him. I know of a woman in Africa, I don't want to mention the country. She had a clean record, but she was in a political party that was dodgy, a party that was full of crooked guys. The crooked guys in that party knew that no one would vote for them because they knew their records. But guess what? They needed someone with a clean record. And they got hold of this woman and pushed her forward. She won the election. And guess what? After the election, the criminals in the back were busy stealing the money. That's what they do with people like Obama. That's what they do with people like Kamala Harris. And they just push them forward. You know what? There's also something I need to share with you. It's some of you might not have heard of it before. It is called the Judas goat. I don't know if you've heard the Judas goat before. Please put a comment at the bottom. I want to know how many people have heard the term Judas goat. So if you have heard it, put your comment in the comment section. I need to hear from you. Judas goat, according to dictionary definition, it said it's a goat that has been specially trained to lead sheep or other livestock, especially to the slaughtering place in a stockyard or meat processing facility. So they say some smaller meat packing plants still use Judas goat today. But both the term and the technique itself originated from cattle drives in the United States in the 1800s. The term is a reference to Judas Iscariot, an apostle of Jesus Christ who betrayed Jesus, as told in the New Testament of the Bible. You know, Judas goat, what is it? Judas goat is that goat that they use in leading, because they know that a lot of goats discover that, you know, sometimes they take some of us away and those guys don't come back. So maybe there's something strange happening on the other side, that is in the abattoir. So when they want to get these goats to go, and the goats refuse to go because they say, well, hey, you are taking me, I don't want to go away from my brothers here. I want to be with them. So because they resist, so they now train a Judas goat that will go with those ones and come back. When it comes back for these ones innocently follow him to the abattoir where they're now slaughtered. So I call people like Obama, Kamala Harris, Al Sharpton, I call them Judas goats. They put them in front of you as one of you to accept them, to vote for them. So when they get in there, they'll roast you for, in Ghana they call kebab, they call it chichinga. So they roast you for chichinga. So that's what they do with these Judas goats. And also there are religious Judas goats. Good example is in the United Kingdom, where you have someone called the Archbishop of Canterbury. And also there's another Archbishop of York. The Archbishop of Canterbury, whenever he's a liberal archbishop, the one in York must be conservative. If the one in York is liberal, the one in Canterbury should be conservative. The two of them are on the same level of power and authority, but for ceremonial purposes, they refer to the Archbishop of Canterbury as the real deal. So what do the politicians use them for? You see, whilst the one that's liberal is speaking generally on a liberal level, and some members of the church who are conservative in nature are not happy with what he's saying, the one which is, conservative will be speaking for them. So say, well, at least we have somebody speaking for us. So as a result, they keep the church nice and sweet. That's why abortion is a serious issue in the United Kingdom amongst Christians. But guess what? Instead of the Archbishop confronting abortion, he's busy talking about climate change, which is what the politicians want him to say. So as a result, there's that problem. So Judas' goat is not only in the secular world, it is also within the church. So that's why, as people of God, we need to be very careful and be discerning. So what is important here now is that we need to be very careful with some of these so-called black guys that are flashed in your face. They're smooth talkers. Oh, he's been to Harvard. She's a top lawyer. She's been an attorney for California. But you know what? I'm going to show you videos in a minute to show you who these guys are really are. And I'll start with Obama. But the interesting thing is that there's a Nigerian saying. It is in Yoruba language. I love the Yoruba language. There's a place in Nigeria, in Yoruba land, called Idore. And in Idore, they used to have a lot of monkeys. But unfortunately, people come from all over the country to poach these monkeys for food, for meat. They kill them for meat. But then the numbers have dwindled. And now, these days, people will say, there are no more monkeys in Idore. He said the few monkeys that are there, they're now wearing bulletproof vests. They become smart. So these days, there are no more fools around. No more fools in America. The blacks are no more fools. They become wiser, which is why they made it Trump 2024. Because they are tired of being used by these Judas goats to sell them out to the Democrats who use them for meat, for chichinga. So I'm going to show you a video right now. And that video shows you exactly who Obama is. Before Obama became president, he was rebellious. You can see that he hated America. But when he became president, he pretended he doesn't hate America, he's for America. But I'll show you videos to show you the kind of person he is, that he's not exactly who he says he is, but he was sold to the American black people as like a savior or someone of their color who has achieved. They voted him into power, and their lot did not change under Obama. Here I'm going to show you Obama at an event where the American anthem was being sung. All the other Americans placed their hands on their hearts. Obama stood there like a foreigner, which he is actually. And you know what? I want you to watch it for yourself, but please, after watching it, I want to hear your comments in the comment sections. Write something to me. I want to hear from you. So here it is. You can see on the platform, even Hillary Clinton was on the platform with her hand on her heart, singing the national anthem. And what did Obama do? Obama just stood there like a clown, like a Mongolian clown. Watch. So my question is, why was he standing like that if he truly loves America? I think he's sending a signal to his black radical, base that I'm there for you. I can't stand this country. The country's been really, it's been really unfair to us. So I'm here to represent you and everything. That's what he was trying to do here. Send a message to his own people. But unfortunately, he was used against his own people, which was so sad. Here it is.
Oh, it was still there. Oh, Savior, that star-spangled banner, on the banner shall ever wave over the land.
see, on the platform, everyone else had their hands on their hearts. But this man, a rebel, and I believe he's a Muslim, and I'll prove that to you in a minute. I believe he's a Muslim. That's why I love it when President Trump says Barack Hussein Obama. You see, they quickly kept the Hussein away when he was campaigning because they didn't want to link him to Islam, because they know that a lot of Christians will not vote for a Muslim. But it's Barack Hussein Obama. He hates America. He weakened America. He almost destroyed America before he left. But God has his number. So this is the problem. But Obama lied to the whole country. He said, oh, he's a Christian. But the question is, what kind of Christian? What kind of Christian? We're going to be looking at that at some videos in a minute to see what kind of Christian he is. Then some people questioned him. What church did you attend? Then he said he attended the church of a man called Jeremiah. You call him Reverend Jeremiah Wright. And he was in Jeremiah Wright's church for over 20 years. But when I researched Jeremiah Wright, I saw that as a true Christian, if you have discernment, you will not last 5 minutes in that church. So for Obama to be comfortable in that man's church, then something is wrong with Obama himself. Because Jeremiah Wright is an anti-American preacher. He's not even a Christian preacher, because he's like a politician pretending to be Christian, so that the authorities don't deal with him. So he hid under the cloak of the Bible to curse America, to insult America. And that's what Jeremiah Wright has been doing. And Obama sat in that church for over 20 years, which means he loved that message that curses America, that message that says America will be destroyed. He loved it, because you cannot love America as a citizen of America and really be in that kind of church. I was born in Nigeria, but I'm also British. But I love Britain. I pledge allegiance to Britain. Why? Because Britain is very special. They've been good to me. Some years ago, I went with my family to Ghana. And in Ghana, I was made to understand that as a British person, Nigerian government didn't have any facilities like that. They don't even know where their citizens are in different parts of the world. They don't know how many of them or who they are. But the British made me understand that when you're in a foreign land, go to the local embassy and register your presence. So I went to the embassy in Ghana to register that I'm in Ghana. Guess what? They took my details and my family's details, our passport details, and they gave us this family pack. And they said inside that pack are information required in case you need help. And also in case, God forbid, war breaks out in that part of the world, there are some safe houses you can go to. And the British Marines will fly their helicopters to those safe houses to take out the British citizens. You see, the country was prepared to spend millions to rescue its own people from a foreign land, which my original nation, Nigeria, doesn't even have. They don't care because the politicians steal the money. They are corrupt. They don't care about their people. But for the British government to care about my whereabouts and the welfare of myself and my family, it shows that if I disown this country or operate against this country, then I'm a wicked and a foolish person. So Obama, benefiting from the goodness of God in America and behaving like this on a platform, and then trying to destroy the nation as a leader, is just bad news. But so many of we Christians cannot even discern to see that. We just saw a black man who has broken through. He's now a good example. No, I don't get carried away by those things. I'm going to show you a video of Jeremiah Wright. Listen to his message and tell me, please, in the comment section, do you think this man is a true Christian? And Obama sat in this man's church for over 20 years. And as a result, he claimed he is a Christian. And so many Christians bought into the lie and they voted him into power. Watch this video now.
Assalamu alaikum to the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, to our hosts, to our sisters and brothers We are grateful to God to be able to be here and to speak a word on behalf of Palestinian justice. Those who put this program together just had the Aboriginal people, the original people of this country, on this platform. And that was so powerful for this reason. They came here to remind us of the fact that this was their country before the Europeans decided that their God had given them this country. The same issue.
This man is supposed to be a reverend, Christian reverend, because before the Europeans claimed that God gave them the land, the Europeans didn't claim that God gave them the land. They came there, they saw a land that is free and not developed, just like the Americans took over America from the Red Indians. They didn't say God gave them the land. They brought God into the land. They actually took over, developed the land, and it's working. But you listen to what he said. He said God gave them the land. Propaganda.
Is being fought today and has been fought since 1948. And historians were carried back to the 19th century. Biblical historians were carried back to the book of Judges, where the original people, the Palestinians, and please remember, Jesus was a Palestinian.
Oh, Lord, have mercy. This man is evil to the core. He was trying to trace Palestinians to the biblical times. If he traced it back to the biblical times, he would discover that the Palestinians were not in that part of the world. They were not in Israel. In that part, at that time, the land belonged to the Jewish people. And listen, he said Jesus is a Palestinian. It's a lie. Jesus was a Jew. A Jew. A Jew, for that matter. You see, this is the reverend, the so-called reverend that Obama sat under for 20 years. You can see exactly what I'm saying. So many of you don't have access to this information. You just get carried away by the propaganda of the liberal media. They whitewash the image of the Judas goat they want to use so that you can obey, you can follow them, believing it's okay. But thank God this time around, the goats refuse to follow the Judas goat because they've seen through him. They've seen that this goat is gone several times. He only comes back, but the others don't come back. So we're not going to go with him. Thank God for America. So listen to what this man said. He said Jesus was a Palestinian. He wasn't a Palestinian. He was a Jewish man, Jewish rabbi.
The Palestinian people have had the Europeans come and take their country, ignoring United Nations resolutions after resolution after resolution, over 40 resolutions in illegally occupied territories, as they take the people whose countries it is and make it theirs because their God told them that they could have somebody else's country.
He's telling a lie. Their God told them. No. The God of Israel gave that land to the Jewish people. Even the one called the West Bank. It's not West Bank originally. If you go and trace it into the Bible, it is called Judea and Samaria. They all belong to Israel. But this man is a liar. He's in the front of thousands of Muslims. So Muslims deliberately invited him because they know his message resonates with them. Because Obama is a Muslim, that was why he could sit in this man's church for over 20 years and absorb all this nonsense and pretend he is a Christian. Now let's keep on watching.
The youth in Ferguson and the youth in Palestine have united together to remind us that the dots need to be connected. And what Dr. King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, has implications for us as we stand beside our Palestinian brothers and sisters who have been done one of the most egregious injustices in the 20th and 21st centuries. Boycott, divestment, and sanction is how we fought nonviolently to bring an end to apartheid in South Africa. Apartheid is going on in Palestine as we sit here. There's an apartheid wall.
Well, you know what? I think you've seen enough to prove to you that this man is not a proper Christian. They use the title Reverend to cover up. That's why he's in front of thousands of Muslims and is playing to the gallery, speaking to them and telling them lies. The Palestinians didn't exist in that area, but Israel lived in that area. The Temple Mount, who built it? Jewish people. Everything in that area, the discoveries, the archaeological discoveries, point to the fact that Jewish people lived there for thousands of years. There's no archaeological evidence that the Palestinians were there. So that was Obama's pastor that made Obama a Christian. Let's look at this video first, then please, I need your comments in the comment section. Write something there. Here it is.
If you look at the history of countries around the world, when you start treating people differently, not because of any harm they're doing anybody, but because they're different, that's the path whereby freedoms begin to erode. And bad things happen. And when a government gets in the habit of treating people differently, those habits can spread. If somebody is a law-abiding citizen who is going about their business and working in a job and obeying the traffic signs and doing all the other things that good citizens are supposed to do, and not harming anybody, the idea that they are going to be treated differently or abused because of who they love is wrong. Full stop.
Just like President Obama, I think we also need to be able to speak frankly about some of these things. And the fact of the matter is that Kenya and the United States, we share so many values. Our common love for democracy, entrepreneurship, value for families. These are things that we share. But there are some things that we must admit we don't share. Our culture, our societies don't accept. It's very difficult for us to be able to impose on people that which they themselves do not accept. This is why I repeatedly say that for Kenyans today, the issue of gay rights is really a non-issue. We want to focus on other areas that are day-to-day living for our people. The health issues that we have discussed with President Obama, these are critical. Issues of ensuring inclusivity and of women, a huge section of society that is normally left out of the mainstream of economic development. What we can do in terms of infrastructure, what we can do in terms of education, in terms of our roads, in terms of giving our people power, encouraging entrepreneurship. These are the key focuses. Maybe once, like you have, overcome some of these challenges, we can begin to look at new ones. But as of now, the fact remains that this issue is not really an issue that is on the foremost mind of Kenyans, and that is the fact.
Wow. Thank God for Uhuru Kenyatta. So many African presidents will be afraid to share that. But he stood there, knowing the majority of the Kenyans were behind him. A majority of Africans will not take that agenda on board. It's a fact. We're not like that. So why are you pushing an agenda like that on the people of Africa? We expected Obama to come with some affirmative action, something special for Africa to develop, to do well. But he brought the gay marriage. And Obama is a hypocrite because when he goes to Saudi Arabia, he doesn't tell them about gay marriage. He doesn't push those agendas there. Rather, he bows to them. And I'll show you a video right now where he did so. Hang on a minute.
You may remember back in 2005, President Bush kissed Crown Prince Abdullah of Saudi Arabia, and then held his hand. I thought it was Paul and Paula, remember them? While greeting him in Crawford, Texas. While President Obama didn't kiss the guy, he did seem to bow. Look at that. But the White House says, no, 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 no. He wasn't bowing. He was just double handshaking to a smaller guy. You saw it, you make the call. A lot of Americans very angry about this. I'm not going to quibble over the bow. I wasn't there. The White House says it wasn't a bow. But what is clear to everyone is that President Obama was soft, almost subservient to the Muslim world. He wants them to like us. Will that strategy work, madam?
No, that strategy will not work. And he did bow to the Muslim king while he did not do it to the British Queen of England. And by bowing, he showed the world that I am subservient. I do bow down to you as a Muslim king, something no other president has done with Saudi Arabia. The Saudi king is his peer. He is not his subordinate in order to bow for him. And this is exactly what Obama did. Usually it is out of respect that someone would nod his head when bowing to royalty, and the ladies will give curtsy. But Obama went beyond what is required as a head of state and bowed to the Saudi king, and that's unacceptable. It sent the wrong symbol.
When you say it sends the wrong signal, what signal do you think it sends?
It sent a message that Islam is superior to any other master or king or president in the world.
You heard it. That's exactly what happens. He didn't tell the Saudi king about gay marriage, but rather he bowed. And he's trying to send a message to the Muslims across the world. Islam is superior to anything. It's superior to the American Constitution. It's superior to the Bible. That's what he did. He didn't bow to the queen. And that's the problem with this hypocritical Judas goat called Obama, calling the divider in chief. Let's listen to a few more things this woman has to say, then we'll move on.
That an American president bound to a Muslim king. It also sent a message that terrorism and jihadism is giving Islam the respect it should have on the world stage, to the point that it made an American president, for the first time in history, bow to a Muslim king, something he did not do a few days ago in England.
That's a pretty militant view.
I was similarly annoyed when President Bush held this same man's hand and was so affectionate with him.
Okay.
I don't know why our presidents are so gaga over him.
I know why. They're not gaga.
Well, I know why, too.
Well, there are two reasons. Number one, we need Saudi Arabia's oil, and certainly we want the Muslim world to calm down. All right? We want them not to hate us. I wasn't there. I'm giving both sides of the story. If it were me, I wouldn't hold his hand. I wouldn't smooch him. I wouldn't bow. I'd say, hey, how you doing, King? How's things going over there? Can we help you out?
I'm sure he'd want to smooch you, because, you know, everybody wants to smooch you, Bills.
You know what? Obama bowed, and the White House was trying to whitewash it. They're trying to lie to us. Propaganda again. It's very clear. He bowed to the man, and we know, we can see it for ourselves. So that's what I'm saying. He didn't tell the Saudis accept gay marriage because he knows the consequences. But unfortunately, to his own black brothers and sisters, he was telling us gay marriage. And I did some research before coming on air, and I found out that, when President Reagan was in power, he signed an executive order that American money must not be used to promote abortion in Africa. It held. Guess what? George Bush Sr. came along. He didn't tamper with that executive order. After that, Bill Clinton came. Remember, the Planned Parenthood organization are supporters of the Democratic Party because they get millions from the Democratic Party when they're in power, and they pump millions into the coffers of the Democratic Party to win elections. So when Clinton came into power with support of Planned Parenthood, he removed that executive order to pump money into Africa for abortion. And guess what? George W. Bush, the Jr., came along. He put the executive order back on. And guess what? Obama came after him, removed the executive order. President Trump came after, he put it back on. Joe Biden came after and took it away. But I believe with President Trump coming now, he's going to put the executive order back on. What I'm saying here is that you say you're a Christian and you love God and you're sold out to his kingdom. The zeal of God has taken you over. And someone is busy killing the babies that your father is sending from heaven. And you're sitting back and say, well, it doesn't matter. I just don't like Trump. I don't like the way he talks. But you're happy for the babies to be killed. You're not a Christian. I have to be blunt. You're just a joker. You don't understand what Christianity is all about. So, a political party being supported by Planned Parenthood to destroy children, you are supporting them. You say it's okay. And you can see the presidents of those parties, removing executive orders to kill babies. You know what? Obama is just a hypocrite. He's a smooth operator. He's one of those hustlers downtown. Those guys around the corner that sell drugs, they disappear, they make strange moves. That's what it is. He managed to deceive many in America. But thank God that this time around, the blacks in America saw through their smoke screen and voted against Kamala because they brought her as a Judas goat as well. But it did not work. Remember, there are no more monkeys in Idore in Nigeria. The few monkeys that are left there now we are bulletproof because they knew in the past they got shot and killed. Now in this final video, President Trump has been able to discern who Mr. Obama is. And here he's explaining. And like I said before, please drop your comments in the comments bit below and I'll respond to them by the grace of God. Listen to what President Trump has to say.
Any longer. And that goes for Barack Hussein Obama, too.
And that should be mentioned during his campaign to be president. But they removed the Hussein so they don't associate him with Muslims. But at the end of the day, when he got to Saudi Arabia, he bowed to the king of Saudi Arabia. Very sad indeed. The most powerful nation on the earth, bowing to guys who support terrorism. Unbelievable. Let's watch.
He's a divider. He's a divider. And Michelle, oh, she said bad things about me. Ooh. Michelle got out there the other day. Oh, I've been very nice to her. I guess that means I don't have to be nice anymore, right? Oh, I'm looking forward to this. No, Obama was a great divider. He was a great, great divider. What we have built is the biggest, broadest, most incredible coalition and the greatest political movement in American history, I think in any history, if you want to know the truth. It's made up of the hard-working men and women who make this country run, who make this country great. We've brought together veterans and union members, soldiers and steel workers, farmers and auto workers, and patriotic moms and dads of every race, religion, color, and creed, right? We're welcoming historic numbers of African Americans and Hispanic Americans and Asian Americans and Arab Americans. And we're uniting Christians and Jews and Catholics and evangelicals and Muslims and Mormons and everyone who simply wants one thing. They want one thing, to make America great again. That's all they want. Our campaign has been endorsed by the 400,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police. And I don't believe there's a police organization in America that hasn't endorsed us. And I don't believe there's even a single policeman or policewoman, a cop. That's another thing. My father always used to say, never call them cops. That's disrespectful. I don't know. I think, look, I'm going with my father. So we're going to say policeman or policewoman.
Okay. Well, you heard it from President Trump, President Donald J. Trump. He said Barack is the divider. His wife also, so sad. She spews out lies, hypocrisy, deception, propaganda, unbelievable. These are Judas goats who were sent out to deceive more blacks in order to retain their wealth and power at the expense of black people. But you know what? Black people have woken up finally. And thank God, yes, we're doing something with our own lives. I want to thank you for watching this program, but please share this message. And apart from that, click on the subscribe button if you want to be receiving much more regular materials from us that's going to be churning out every day of the week. Press the notification button and just like it. God bless you and keep the fire burning. I'm going to be back your way very soon. It's going to be coming to you hot and heavy from the press. Bye for now.